What if the man giving the most emotional speech at a funeral was the same man responsible for the victim's death? That's exactly how the Westies episode 4 begins. In just 1 hour, alliances begin to crumble. Fathers betray their sons, old wounds reopen, and a single secret drug deal puts one of New York's most powerful gang leaders on a hit list. But the most dangerous weapon in this episode isn't a gun. It's the truth. Because once the lies start unraveling, no one, not even Eamon Sweeney, can stop what's coming. By this point in the series, the Westies have pulled off one of their boldest operations yet, the Starship Raid. They escaped with a fortune in Colombian cocaine, embarrassed powerful enemies, and believed they had finally secured a brighter future. But success in organized crime always comes with a price. Instead of celebrating, the crew is now attending the funeral of Pat Murphy, one of their own. On the surface, it's a heartbreaking farewell. Underneath that grief lies a secret almost no one knows. Pat wasn't killed by a rival gang. He wasn't caught in random street violence. He died because someone within his own organization decided he had become a liability. That decision came from Eamon Sweeney. And that single choice quietly changes everything. The funeral immediately establishes the episode's biggest theme. Sweeney stands before Pat's grieving family and delivers a beautifully crafted speech. He talks about loyalty. He talks about brotherhood. He talks about protecting Hell's Kitchen. To everyone listening, he sounds less like a crime boss and more like a respected community leader who genuinely loves his neighborhood. This public image is exactly why Sweeney has remained in power for so long. He doesn't rule through fear alone. He rules through perception. As long as people believe he's acting for the good of the community, they'll continue following him, even when his actions say otherwise. But there's one person who isn't buying the performance. Mickey Flanagan. While everyone else listens respectfully, Mickey quietly reminds Jimmy of something impossible to ignore. Pat isn't the first person Sweeney has sacrificed. Davy died. Mickey himself nearly became expendable, and now Pat has joined that list. Mickey doesn't accuse Sweeney directly. He doesn't need to. Instead, he plants a seed of doubt inside Jimmy's mind, a seed that continues growing for the rest of the episode. This is one of the smartest pieces of writing in the Westies. Instead of revealing Sweeney as an obvious villain, the writers allow the audience to experience Jimmy's slow realization. We're watching his faith begin to crack one conversation at a time. Another small detail during the funeral says a lot about Pat himself. The crew discovers that Pat's girlfriend is heavily pregnant. At first, everyone assumed they were building a future together, but that's not the case. She reveals she threw Pat out because he refused to marry her. It's an uncomfortable revelation. Pat wasn't perfect. He made selfish decisions. He often acted without thinking. Earlier in the series, his reckless behavior had already created serious problems for the Westies. Yet none of those flaws justify what happened to him. That's the tragedy. In Sweeney's world, people aren't judged by loyalty or friendship. They're judged by usefulness. The moment someone becomes a risk, they're disposable. And that's exactly what happened to Pat. Jimmy can't let Pat's murder go. He wants answers. Who killed one of the Westies on their own streets? He asks Sweeney directly. Without hesitation, Sweeney blames the Puerto Rican gangs. It's a believable explanation. The neighborhood is already tense. Violence isn't unusual. But Jimmy notices something. Sweeney answers too quickly, almost as if he'd prepared the story beforehand. Jimmy doesn't argue. He simply watches. Sometimes silence reveals more than words ever could. From this moment onward, Jimmy begins observing Sweeney differently. Not as a father figure, not as a mentor, but as someone who might be hiding something. It's a subtle shift, but one that drives the entire episode. If Jimmy is beginning to suspect the truth, Keenan already knows he's living on borrowed time. The murder of Pat solved one problem for Sweeney, but it created another. Danny, Glenn's son. Danny has quietly pieced together what happened. He remembers his father questioning him about Pat. He remembers Glenn becoming unusually aggressive. Then Pat suddenly disappeared. To Danny, the sequence is obvious. His father was involved. And if Glenn was involved, someone above him had to give the order. That someone can only be Sweeney. This puts Glenn in an impossible position. He's a corrupt detective. He's secretly working with Sweeney. He's also under pressure from the FBI. And now the one person who could expose everything is his own son. For Glenn, this isn't just another criminal problem. It's deeply personal. He isn't trying to protect money. He's trying to protect his family. Unfortunately, in the world of the Westies, protecting your family often means destroying it. As the funeral comes to an end, everyone walks away believing they're protecting a different version of the truth. Jimmy wants justice, Mickey wants accountability, Glenn wants to save his son, Danny wants revenge, and Sweeney wants one thing above all else: control. But what none of them realize is that another secret is about to explode. Because while everyone is mourning Pat Murphy, a fortune in stolen cocaine is quietly waiting to tear the Westies apart. And the man who told everyone the drug should be destroyed is about to become the very thing he claims to hate.
Jimmy believes the stolen cocaine could finally change the Westies' future. Selling it would bring in enough money to help Pat's family and strengthen the crew. But Sweeney refuses, insisting that drugs would destroy everything they've built. There's just one problem. He's lying. Behind everyone's back, Sweeney secretly sells the cocaine himself, proving that the rules only apply to everyone else. His hypocrisy becomes the episode's biggest turning point. At the same time, Danny begins uncovering the truth about Pat's murder, forcing Glenn Keenan into an impossible situation. To save his son's life, Glenn sacrifices their relationship by arranging Danny's arrest through the FBI. Meanwhile, Bridget's story takes a dramatic turn when Brendan reveals that his mission is to kill the British officer responsible for her parents' deaths. Suddenly, her fight isn't political anymore. It's deeply personal. But what happens next changes everything. Sweeney's secret drug deal reaches the ears of John Gotti, who immediately orders his execution. Without realizing it, Sweeney has started a war. As Sweeney celebrates receiving a prestigious community award, danger is closing in from every direction. Jimmy finally discovers that Sweeney sold the cocaine after promising to destroy it. The man Jimmy trusted like a father has been manipulating him all along. At the same time, Mickey reminds Jimmy of every betrayal Sweeney has committed: Davy, Pat, and now the cocaine. For the first time, Jimmy begins questioning whether his loyalty has been misplaced. Outside the awards ceremony, Gotti's assassins prepare to strike. Everything points toward Sweeney's downfall. It seems inevitable, but no one expects what happens next. Just when the hitmen move in, Jimmy arrives and saves the very man who betrayed him. It's a shocking choice that proves Jimmy still can't abandon the father figure who raised him, even after learning the truth. The ending of episode 4 isn't about who survives. It's about who can still be trusted. Jimmy saves Sweeney's life, but the quiet drink they share afterward feels completely different. Neither man says much, yet both understand that their relationship has changed forever. Sweeney knows Jimmy has uncovered his lies. Jimmy knows Sweeney values power more than loyalty. At the same time, Glenn has lost his son, Bridget has returned to a path of revenge, and John Gotti is now openly targeting the Westies. The episode quietly tears apart every relationship that once held the gang together. The biggest theme of Favours and Funerals is simple. The greatest threat to the Westies isn't the mafia or the FBI. It's the lies they keep telling each other. With the season entering its second half, every alliance is beginning to crack, and one wrong decision could bring the entire organization crashing down.